Atomic Habits Summary by Voice Book Vault. Did you know that just 1% improvement each day can lead to a whopping 37 times better results in a year? That's the power of atomic habits. Introduction. Do you ever wonder why some people seem to achieve their goals effortlessly while others struggle? The answer lies in the small, daily habits that make up their lives. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains how these tiny actions, when repeated consistently, can lead to massive, life-changing results. Get ready to learn how to build habits that stick, break those that hold you back, and create a life that truly reflects your dreams. The science of habits. Habits are like the autopilot of our lives. They're the small decisions we make and the actions we perform daily, often without even realizing it. James Clear begins Atomic Habits by breaking down the science behind these automatic behaviors. He explains that every habit follows a pattern called the habit loop. Cue, craving, response, and reward. Cue. The cue is what triggers your brain to start a behavior. It's a signal that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. This could be a certain time of day, an emotional state, or a specific location. For instance, seeing your running shoes by the door might cue you to go for a jog. Craving. The craving is the motivational force behind every habit. Without some level of craving or desire, there is no reason to act. Cravings are linked to a change in your internal state, something you want to achieve, like the feeling of relaxation after a long day. This is why habits are so powerful. They are driven by a desire to feel a certain way. Response. The response is the actual habit or action you perform. It's the behavior you enact in response to the cue and craving. This could be something as simple as picking up your phone when you're bored or brushing your teeth after eating. Reward. Finally, the reward is the end goal of every habit. It's what satisfies your craving and reinforces the habit loop. Rewards teach your brain whether this particular loop is worth remembering in the future. If the action leads to a positive outcome, you're more likely to repeat the habit. Understanding this loop is essential because it gives you the power to interrupt and reshape your habits. By identifying the cues that trigger your bad habits and the rewards you're seeking, you can start to manipulate the loop to create better habits. Clear also highlights the importance of identity in habit formation. Rather than focusing solely on the outcome, like losing weight or reading more books, it's more effective to focus on the type of person you want to become. For example, instead of saying, "I want to lose weight," say, "I want to be the type of person who leads a healthy lifestyle." This shift in focus makes it easier to adopt habits that align with your desired identity. Building good habits. Now that we understand how habits work, the next step is learning how to build good habits that last. James Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change as a framework to help you create habits that stick. 1. Make it obvious. The first step in building a new habit is to make the cue for your habit clear and visible. Your brain needs an obvious signal to know when to act. One effective strategy is to use implementation intentions, a plan you set for when and where you will perform a habit. For example, instead of just saying, "I'll exercise more," you set a clear plan. "I will go for a run at 6 a.m. every morning in the park." This removes ambiguity and makes it easier to follow through. Another powerful technique is habit stacking. This involves linking a new habit to an existing one. For instance, if you already have a habit of brewing coffee every morning, you could stack a new habit like reading a book by saying, "After I brew my coffee, I will read for 10 minutes. By anchoring your new habit to an established one, you create a strong and predictable cue. 2. Make it attractive. The more attractive a habit is, the more likely you are to stick with it. This is where the concept of temptation bundling comes into play. Temptation bundling involves pairing an action you want to do with an action you need to do. For example, if you want to exercise but also enjoy watching a particular TV show, you could only allow yourself to watch that show while working out. This makes the habit more enticing and increases your motivation to follow through. Clear also discusses the role of social influence in making habits attractive. Surrounding yourself with people who have the habits you want to develop can make those habits more appealing. If you're trying to get into the habit of reading, joining a book club or spending time with avid readers can make reading more enjoyable and something you look forward to. 3. Make it easy. To build a lasting habit, you need to reduce the friction associated with the behavior. The easier the habit is to start, the more likely you are to do it. Clear emphasizes the importance of starting small, so small that it seems almost trivial. This is where the idea of the 2-minute rule comes in. The 2-minute rule suggests that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. For example, if you want to start flossing your teeth, commit to flossing just one tooth. The key is to make the habit so easy that it's impossible to say no. Once you've mastered the first step, you can gradually build up to more challenging habits. Environment design is another crucial factor in making habits easy. By organizing your environment in a way that supports your desired habits, you make it easier to follow through. If you want to eat healthier, you might place a bowl of fruit on your kitchen counter while keeping junk food out of sight. By reducing the barriers to good habits and increasing the barriers to bad ones, you make it easier to stick to your goals. 4. Make it satisfying. The final law of behavior change is to make your habits satisfying. Immediate rewards are powerful motivators because they provide instant feedback and reinforcement. This is why habit tracking can be so effective. By marking off each day that you complete your habit on a calendar or app, you create a visual reminder of your progress. The satisfaction of seeing your streak grow motivates you to keep going. However, it's also important to acknowledge the role of delayed rewards. While the immediate satisfaction of a habit is crucial, the long-term benefits are what truly make habits worthwhile. Clear suggests celebrating small wins along the way to keep yourself motivated. Whether it's treating yourself to something special or simply acknowledging your progress, finding ways to make your habits satisfying in the short term will help you stay committed in the long term. Breaking bad habits. Just as you can build good habits, you can also break bad ones by applying the opposite of the 4 laws of behavior change. Clear provides strategies for making bad habits less appealing and harder to maintain. 1. Make it invisible. The first step in breaking a bad habit is to reduce your exposure to the cues that trigger it. If you're trying to quit eating junk food, don't keep snacks in the house. If you want to cut down on social media use, remove the apps from your phone or place them in a folder that's not easily accessible. By making the cue invisible, you reduce the likelihood of engaging in the habit. 2. Make it unattractive. One of the most effective ways to break a bad habit is to make it unattractive by highlighting the negative aspects. Clear suggests reframing your mindset around the habit by focusing on the downsides. For example, if you want to quit smoking, remind yourself of the health risks and the financial costs associated with the habit. By making the habit seem less desirable, you weaken the craving that drives it. 3. Make it difficult. Increasing the friction for your bad habits can significantly reduce your likelihood of performing them. This could involve creating obstacles that make the habit more difficult to carry out. For instance, if you want to stop watching so much TV, you could unplug the TV after each use and store the remote in a different room. The more effort required to perform the habit, the less likely you are to do it. Another effective strategy is to implement accountability measures. This could involve sharing your goals with a friend or joining a support group. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitment makes it harder to backslide into old habits. 4. Make it unsatisfying. Finally, to break a bad habit, you need to make it unsatisfying. One way to do this is by setting up negative consequences for yourself. For example, you could create a commitment contract where you agree to donate money to a cause you dislike if you fail to stick to your habit. The idea is to create a disincentive for engaging in the bad habit, making it less appealing to continue. Self-reflection is also key in making bad habits unsatisfying. By regularly evaluating your progress and the impact of your habits, you can better understand the long-term consequences of your actions. This awareness can motivate you to break the habit and replace it with something more positive. Advanced strategies for habit mastery. As you become more skilled at building and breaking habits, you may encounter challenges that require advanced strategies. James Clear offers insights into how to stay on track and continue improving even when obstacles arise. 1. The role of motivation and willpower. While motivation and willpower are important, they are not reliable for long-term habit change. Motivation tends to fluctuate, and willpower can be depleted over time. Instead of relying solely on these factors, Clear recommends focusing on habit systems, the routines and processes that support your habits. By creating a system that makes your habits automatic, you reduce the need for constant motivation and willpower. 2. How to stay on track when habits break down. No matter how committed you are, there will be times when your habits break down. Life gets in the way and setbacks happen. Clear emphasizes the importance of getting back on track quickly. He introduces the concept of the 2-day rule. Never miss a habit 2 days in a row. Missing 1 day is a slip-up, but missing 2 days can lead to a new negative pattern. By recommitting to your habit as soon as possible, you can prevent small setbacks from becoming major obstacles. 3. The importance of reflection and continuous improvement. Habits are not set in stone. As you grow and evolve, so should your habits. Clear encourages regular reflection on your habits to assess what's working and what's not. This could involve keeping a habit journal or conducting a monthly review. By taking the time to reflect, you can identify areas for improvement and make adjustments to your habit systems. Continuous improvement is also key to long-term success. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, which means continuous improvement, is a philosophy that emphasizes making small, incremental changes over time. By consistently refining your habits, you can achieve significant results and maintain your progress. Real-life applications and success stories. To illustrate the transformative power of atomic habits, James Clear shares several real-life examples and success stories throughout the book. These stories demonstrate how small, consistent changes can lead to significant improvements in various areas of life. Sports and fitness. One of the most compelling examples in atomic habits comes from the world of sports. Clear shares the story of the British cycling team, which went from mediocre to dominating the sport by focusing on small improvements. Under the leadership of coach Dave Brailsford, the team adopted a strategy called marginal gains, where they looked for 1% improvements in every area of their training and preparation. These small changes added up to a significant competitive advantage, leading to multiple Olympic gold medals and Tour de France victories. Business and productivity. In the business world, Clear highlights how companies like Toyota and Google have used the principles of atomic habits to drive innovation and efficiency. By focusing on continuous improvement and creating systems that support good habits, these companies have achieved remarkable success. For example, Toyota's commitment to Kaizen has made it one of the most efficient and respected manufacturers in the world. Personal development. On a personal level, Clear shares stories of individuals who have transformed their lives by adopting atomic habits. Whether it's someone who lost weight by making small changes to their diet and exercise routine or someone who built a successful career by consistently working on their skills, these stories show that anyone can achieve their goals by focusing on small, daily improvements. Conclusion. As we wrap up this journey through atomic habits, it's clear that the power of small changes cannot be underestimated. By focusing on tiny, incremental improvements, you can achieve remarkable results over time. The key is to build habits that align with your desired identity, make those habits easy and attractive, and stay committed even when challenges arise. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect, but to be consistent. Even if you only improve by 1% each day, those small gains will compound into significant achievements. So, start today by identifying one small habit you want to build or break. Use the 4 laws of behavior change as your guide, and take the first step towards a better, more fulfilling life. What habits are you going to start building today? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this summary helpful, be sure to check out our other videos on personal development and self-improvement. Remember, small habits lead to big changes. Start your journey now. If you learned something from this audiobook, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.